he was talking about manning up.
I was just saying manning up.
Okay,
and
so
a part of being.
But when you challenge somebody, you got to man up. See,
all
I'm looking right
okay,
here.
I got a challenge.
Okay. Yeah, what's your challenge, man?
I brought a little something special.
Okay.
If we're going to man up, I want to know which one of y'all will man up and eat some of these atomic wings that I got.
Yeah.
Right now, I'm about to dig in. So what flavor you got, Moody?
Original, hot, and mild. That's my favorite.
Okay. What about you, Keith?
Honey barbecue and Hawaiian. It's almost good as my wife.
Did you say and a wine? Wine flavored wings?
Hawaiian.
Hawaiian.
Yeah.
Why you always gotta be exotic? I got Hawaii. Nobody else up here got no Hawaiian, man. That's so soft.
We ain't never been to Hawaii. We don't know nothing about Hawaii.
That's what they call me, so hold on now.
Well, I have, Louisiana rub, all flats, and I have this cowboy lemon pepper. It's like got a little kick to it, with a little lemon pepper on the top, man.
Oh, that's good.
You know we got these fried.
I'm a lemon pepper too. Oh no, Louisiana, but it's Louisiana, not Louisiana. Right? It's Louisiana. And I got Cajun, and then I got a little something special. We'll talk about that later.
That's something special. All right.
You know, guys, we can't have ManCave and not have wings. I mean, it's like a ManCave tradition for us to eat wings and then enjoy football or enjoy a game or whatever, man. So this feels good, man. It's been a while.
Yeah.
It's been a minute.
COVID set us back, man.
COVID set us back, but we back.
We back.
We here.
Well, it has been a while that we've been together eating wings. It hasn't been a while since I've ate wings. That's been almost like a weekly thing for eating wings.
Pastor, you do quite well yourself with wings, friend.
You know, don't expose that to
Oh, my bad.
The master chef.
The boy can get down.
We'll try to do a little something. So, man,
You never will put your wings up against mine.
Uh-oh. I hear challenge.
hey,
Challenge.
man,
The one time you did, you like,
Uh-oh.
I left them on too long. I was here and they got burned, but you know, remember when we was at the house for Super Bowl?
I don't remember that. I don't think Travis remembers that.
He remembered it.
I
Super
remember.
Bowl.
yeah,
His wings was a little crispy.
yeah. But you know,
Challenge.
the winds have changed, and you know. But let me know. Let me know. I mean, I'm always up for a challenge.
Sound like
I don't know if I win, but you know, I'm up for the challenge.
Okay.
You know, this has been a really crazy season for all of us, and I just feel like, you know, one of the things that we do as men is we have some honest conversations. I think all of us in our own right with each other, we have some honest dialogue, some honest conversations, and I feel like this is a great opportunity for us to just kind of come together and just really kind of talk about, this has been crazy, but I think in the chaos of everything, there's still something that we should be learning. And because I always feel like no matter what we go through, if you can find a lesson in something, you can get through it. And it doesn't mean that COVID is trying to teach us something, or this hardship is trying to teach us something, but in part by going through something, you learn something. You know what I mean? So what do you guys feel like, you know, we're in this Better series, which is, you know, great about our relationships. What are you guys learning about relationships during this season that we're in?
I think the biggest thing is not taking anyone for granted anymore. Not taking that, I'll call him tomorrow, I'll say I love you, hey, we'll get together one day, but it's not going to be today. Because right now, not just COVID, but anyone that has any type of challenges health-wise, it's been complicated with COVID, and you're seeing so many people that pass. I've seen some people that get near death, right? They didn't die, but they got close, and you were afraid that you weren't going to make it there to be able to say, hey, I love you, I'm with you. Or they're not the same now. They went through COVID. I know some people, and they came out, but they were left with some, situational health situation where they'll never really be the same anymore.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, for me, it is the resiliency of relationships. Even in marriage, I see the closeness. Like we've never been so close, my spouse and myself. Friendships across states, checking on each other. Being more intentional about picking up the phone, calling. And we're stronger than we think we are. And I think when we do have situations like this, you realize that, hey, there's a new level of strength, a new level of resiliency and perseverance within a relationship. The things that may seem, just, hey, I'm getting upset about this, I'm irritated about this, that doesn't matter. And you're seeing the resiliency, the bounce backness, if you will, of friendships, marriage, and it's just good to see. I've been amazed on how people are really checking up on each other, calling each other, setting up family Zooms. My family in South Carolina, they do every Sunday. Now I don't get on every Sunday.
You didn't have to tell
Because
us.
of
Just
just
Yeah,
busy.
we wouldn't
No, just
know.
just in the busyness.
I mean,
Just
this
in
is
the
not,
busyness.
this is not a confessional.
But just in the busyness
We
of
don't.
it. But just in the busyness of it.
Right, but let me-
But just in the busyness of it.
Right, no, you're not gonna
But
do
just
that.
in the
You're not
busyness
gonna
of
cut
it.
me off.
But
Cut his
just in the
mic off.
busyness- just in the busyness.
Cut his
we
mic
don't
off.
like
Mute
this.
his mic.
Hey,
Mute his
you're not gonna call me soft on this. No, but seriously though.
No, you
no,
went
but
to
seriously
Hampton,
though.
right? You went to Hampton,
I sure
right?
did.
I heard it
Hampton
in your voice
University.
where you said resilience. I went to Lemoyne on HBCU. Boom.
You went where?
Lemoyne on College.
Hey, man,
Memphis,
I ain't
Tennessee.
never heard of that.
Is that
HBCU.
French?
Don't be trying to do that to
Hey,
HBCUs.
Hey, look,
Don't try to do
Lemoyne,
that.
I don't know
try
you.
to do that. Don't try to
HIU,
do
we
that.
on a whole nother level. But anyway,
Don't
the
do that.
resiliency of marriage.
Why you want to do that to
Of friendship.
HBCUs though? Because you
I'm
went
not
to
doing that
Hampton.
to HIU.
This whole conversation is just going to be this the
It
whole
is
time.
derailed. It is derailed.
This is what most conversations sound like in homes today between spouses. They are at each other's throat.
This is my brother here.
But then you have to get that third cosign. Travis. Hampton. Hampton, Travis. You ain't picking sides.
Right?
So back to resiliency.
Back to resiliency.
Be resilient.
It's amazing.
You're so resilient in this conversation.
I had to be. But no, man, the level of strength in terms of staying united, in terms of following up and checking with people, has really grounded us during this season. So that's what I've kind of learned throughout this.
Yeah.
Why don't you?
Watch out.
I've learned, when I think we are at a more heightened level, what Jeremy was saying. It's like, I do think we look at our friendships a little bit more and we're trying to check up on people more. I've learned that when a call comes in like that, if somebody's got, Travis and I, I'm going to just tell you this, we won't get too deep in this. Travis and I have known each other good 13 plus years or more. We've been in the same family for that long. Yeah. So we've pretty much known each other through the majority of our life at good times, right? Most of the conversations we've had over life, not every conversation, but most things, most holidays, most everything has been good times. But Travis has been really open about, the loss of his father this past year. And it was something that as a family, we kind of all went through together. I mean, obviously he went through the bigger part of it, but what I've learned, and I won't go into a lot of detail because it's his story, but like, I could be a very busy guy, but what I'm trying to get better at and what I'm learning through this is like when someone like Travis will call me and just need to talk, you got to drop everything. Busy doesn't have a place when people are dealing with kind of the emotions and stress that COVID has heightened even beyond that. And so I'm learning how to be a better friend and stuff like that. You know, like that. I can always tell when those calls happen because Travis is in his car. I can hear the car pass and he's like, hey man, I'm driving. What that means is I just got to get some things off my chest. So, you know, I can sometimes rush through things and want to move on to the next, but like in these type of things, you got to just stop and let that person get out of their system what they need to get out of. Absolutely. And it's not a lot of wisdom on my part. It's not a lot of, I'm going to solve the problems, I'm going to tell you, but the ability to let somebody be able to do that. And in the same regard, I've learned to be able to express when I'm going through some stressful times, you know, and a lot of that's been with Travis, a lot of that's been with my wife or with some of you guys. Me and Moody, we just talk politics because I know he's going to always lean my direction. And we're not going to tell you what that is. You got to figure that out. But you can follow Moody's page and you'll know exactly where he stands on it. But I think just being more aware, like I think that's what I've learned. It's like you can't just pass people and say, how you doing? Yeah. Like it does require like a longer look at that person's eye that you're friends with. You know, not every stranger you walk up to, how are you? But people that you interact with, you really need to ask that question and want to find out the real answer about what that is right now.
Yeah, and don't ask me if you don't really want to know the answer.
Hey guys, if you are watching this right now, I just want to invite you into our Facebook page. We have a Facebook group, a group of guys in there that simply love to encourage each other. We post funny things, we post life experiences, we post things in there that will continue to uplift you and inspire you in this season and beyond. So I want to invite you out to join our Facebook group.
Yeah, you know, I think one of the things for me is I've learned the real value of grace. And I'm not talking about just in the spiritual sense of, oh God, grant us the grace so our imperfections won't overtake us, you know, or cover my sin. I'm talking about the grace that empowers us to be who we have to be. And what I mean by that is, man, having grace for everybody's new normal. Like there's nothing perfect about what we're going through. There's no perfect way. You know, one of the issues that I've had is even with people in telling us how to go about the virus, COVID. You know, I think one of the issues for me is I really just want people to be honest. If you don't know what we should do, I would have more confidence in you if you would look at me and say, listen, we're trying to figure this out. And we'll get back to you next week.
We'll let you know what we know.
Just don't throw me an answer and it's really not the answer. Now you have to retract the answer because you don't know the answer. I just rather, and I am more comfortable, I think now, with just saying, I don't know.
Right.
And saying no. I ain't doing that. I don't want to do that. Because I am learning that I only have the grace and the space for what I am called to and who I am called and whom I'm called to. And you know what? I think what this season too has done for me, which is a combination of, you know, COVID, but also grief, is that there's a certain place in me that I care so much that I don't care no more. And what I mean by that is I care about what I care about. And the stuff that I don't care about, I'm not going to ever feel guilty of not caring about it. Like I will not allow myself to come down to or go to somebody's petty level just to fit in or just to be a part. No, I am going to be true. I think there's a true self-awareness that I've come to.
It comes with age and with knowing life is short. So it's like I'm not going to waste my time, you know, caring about everything.
I'm gonna stay in my lane and care about what I can care about and do what I can do. And I'm not gonna give my energy to stuff that I can't change anyway. I don't have an opinion about it because I can't change it anyway. And I think that hopefully that doesn't come off like, oh, but I, just mean, but I kind of talk in sound effects sometimes, but I think that's a self-awareness piece. Man, just the value, what I'm learning too is just family, man. It's like, man, at the end of the day, family matters most. I was going to ask y'all something too, not just what you're learning in this season, but what has been challenging about this season as well?
For me, I would say facing my mortality. Especially with COVID going on, you see just people checking out at, I don't even know what it is now, 1,000 a month, whatever. And for me, it's challenging me to be prepared to give my wife, kids, to set them up to win financially, set them up for legacy. And it's challenging me to be present and not just physically there, but engaging. So really just preparation, production, and I want to be present on all levels, mentally, physically, emotionally. And that's a real challenge. I mean, I can say it, it sounds good, but that is a real everyday challenge.
And you know what? I see that challenge when we actually play basketball. Your ability to be present.
Well,
on the court.
And okay with losing.
Here's the thing.
It's a real challenge.
This is the key though. Facing your mentality with the Dallas Cowboys. See, all three of you.
Oh, you were waiting on this.
I'm waiting on this. You done opened
The
this
whole
up.
conversation.
So now, so you guys are facing your season's
So how long
mortality.
did you prep to say
what
this?
is this?
How long did you prep to say this?
Just a couple minutes. Just like you said, I don't spend that much weight. I don't give much weight to you.
Yeah, no, you said
Wow. Oh, yes, you do. Yes, you do.
What's y'all's
Anyway, so
record
finish.
now? Tell me your record.
Finish now.
Tell me. But no.
Back to resilience.
Yeah, back to resilience. Yeah, mortality. No, go ahead, man.
No, I'm just saying. I mean, I'm aware of the challenge. I'm aware of. I see it. I'm just agreeing with your words. I see it more than ever when you go to the basketball court.
Oh, he's still going.
That you have a challenge of being present.
Leave Cream Biggins alone.
Every time you shoot the basketball,
Now
the ball, it's like I don't know if I can't put it into words.
You talking about when we play? Is that what?
Yeah,
You're going right there. Don't do that, man. Don't do that.
9 for 10.
On the set.
9 for 10. That's what I'm saying.
That's an inside joke.
Yeah,
man.
9 for 10. Yeah, that's it. That's it.
Wow.
Okay, moving along. Mark, what's your, if you have any challenges, what's that?
Man.
I mean, you're perfect in all your ways.
Yeah, right. Can somebody give my wife that note? 'Cause she hadn't read that memo about perfection yet. I think the challenge is, for me, it's like I always want to be a good steward of the resources that God has given me. And sometimes that can be a detriment because you're never satisfied. So it's like there's this constant, internally with me, there's a drive to always be more and to utilize what God gave me.
Yeah.
But then when do I ever sit back and go, okay, this is okay for right now? Yeah. And I've had to kind of fight through that. And then, I've had to be better about my physical health. Like I started walking 3.5 miles every 2 or 3 days. And that's a good time for me to kind of take not only a mental break, but to get a physical break. So to be in the moment for those kind of things.
Yeah.
And I think being a challenge just as a father to be more, it's like my kids, when you get older, it's like now Mr. Moody's the senior statesman of the table. So he has older kids. That wasn't a slight. I'm just saying.
The wisdom. He helped me out, let me tell you.
As your kids get older, the rules change on what they need as a dad.
Wow.
So it's challenging in that what I thought I was giving my kids was enough, but then the rules kind of change.
Yeah.
You know, so I have to find myself like, I purposely have to go up into my kid's space, which is upstairs, right? So downstairs, I got my recliner, got my TV, I got all my modes set, but I got to go upstairs into their world sometimes and go into their rooms, find out, you know, that's challenging to have to kind of reset your thinking and to see what they need, because like what Jeremy was saying about preparation, you know, now I'm in prep mode to get my kids to be decent adults. Like, you know, you were in prep mode for them to be decent children, but that stage goes so quickly, and it's like, all right, my daughter's going to be driving next year. She's about to go into college. The rules change for me drastically.
Wow.
So I'm challenged by that to say, how do I reset my parenting skills? What does that look like? Now, when I go upstairs in their world, here's a few things that I gather. I gather every time that it's messy. So I'm gonna go up there and we have a little ritual. I'm gonna raise a little cane when I get up there. Y'all get this, move this. What? But then I go into their rooms, and what I do is when I go into their space, I start to see what they're into, and that helps me to determine how I parent them. Because my daughter is very nice and neat, and everything's in order and in place. My son is a free spirit. You know, he's just like, everything's messy and all that. So I have to do the best that I can with him. But, and the last thing I'll say about what's like challenging for what I've done with them is now I'm to the age to where I'm trying to see what they're into. And as if I see a hint of that, I build into it. So my daughter the other day for Firehouse went and got a free online video creation software. And she made this whole video by herself. And I was blown away by it. So I think what's challenging to me is, how do I feed into those strengths? So I immediately went and got her Final Cut or Adobe Premiere. And I got her these video lessons to learn how to do it. And I was like, if you're into that right now, I'm going to flood everything I can to be into that. Now, here's the thing. Next week, she'll be into gardening. I'll be like, where did that even come from? So I think that changes. And Mr. Moody, you've probably seen that a lot with your kids getting older. Their likes change. Their things have changed with them.
Yeah, and I think that's the difference is having older children now. The challenge for me in the middle of what we're going through, in the middle of a pandemic, is are my children staying safe to keep themselves healthy? And if something happens, how can I be there for them while protecting me? And then secondly, in the middle of civil unrest, I'm worried about my children when they're out driving. Even now, watch this, it used to just be when they're driving or in public. Now I'm concerned at night with if my child is at home, sleep.
Right.
And something happened. How do I train my child how to sleep in their own home and be safe? Because we thought it was lock the doors, make sure you do this, make sure you do that.
Yeah.
But it's now, you know, more than that. And so for me, all of my children are out, but when they were there, it was at night I would be laying in the bed, and until I heard the garage go up, and then I'd feel comfortable. But if they didn't come home or were their friends, I would get up the next morning. This is totally true. I would get up the next morning, and if I hadn't heard from my son, because he was the last to move out, by 10 a.m., I would start frantically calling his phone. And if he didn't respond, I'd call Cam or somebody. Have you seen him? Do you know where he's at? Well, last time I saw him, and I'd keep texting, and then he finally called me back about 12 or 1. By this time, I'm pulling my hair out. Yeah. And for any parents that don't know what that feels like, it's gone. He worried me a lot. And for any
There must have been a lot of calls you made.
He really succeeded on his job.
and so for any parent that don't know what that feels like, that's why you hear, and I know it kind of shifts the conversation, whole Black Lives Matter, is cause for me, and that's why I've had to lean into people like Mark or other friends of mine that are white, is because I had to get from their perspective, how do you see that if your child is out? Would you freak out or not?
Oh, and likewise, I've never.
And you don't know what I see. And
never
so
had to even deal with it. Never thought about. I mean, I've said this story 100 times, but Travis telling me his story about when his dad taught him how to drive was so polar opposite of my mom. My mom was like, "Don't get a ticket. I'm not coming to jail to pick you up." That's pretty much about it. Never in her wildest dreams would she ever have to think about what Travis's dad told him. Put your hands there. And what's crazy in this setting, I have heard more people and more white people be educated on that than I ever, like with this whole age of the George Floyd age of kind of this awareness that's happened in our country. I've heard that story told more and more, and white people be shocked. And for me, it's not a shock anymore, but it certainly was when Travis was. But I don't think people in this country realized what conversations a 16-year-old black male had to hear, or black female had to hear, about what do you do when you get pulled over so that you can make it home alive. That's the craziest
And you know,
thing.
for
And
me,
it's live.
that's been my challenge, honestly. My challenge during COVID has been race.
Yeah.
And if I can just be totally transparent,
Please, man.
it's because I look at people and I go, you're old enough to know better. And you're saying this kind of stuff. Like I'll look at someone, let's say someone that's white, and say, how can you be that hateful? How can you be that mean to go and do that to a child, to shoot a child because he was on your sidewalk, or to do this or do that? And for me, it was harder for me to just like people, because I'm like, and I had to continue to pray every day that I don't allow the frustration with everything to go on make me hate someone because of their race.
Yeah.
Because I have friends and family members that are white, right? So you're caught in that thing of, if I say this or I do this, then they can be offended. So I've had to reach out. I reached out to Travis one day because I was feeling something. And I said, how can I say this? And then he said, if you say, you know, you can write it this way, or you can write it that way. It's because I really wanted to say what I wanted to say, but I didn't want to be offensive to the people I love. I didn't care about the other people, just the ones I love.
Yeah, I think one of the thing has been challenging is quite what you're saying, is just living in that tension, because of how our lives are. It's like living in a diverse reality and hearing and seeing so much hate, so much, and then how that hate is being politicized, right?
Yeah.
And then it's also being spiritualized as well.
Wow.
And so I feel like for a lot of people, the tension's all at the same time. That's why I say family is so important. That's why I think relationships are so important, and people talking it out. Here's what I would say too, in challenging and learning, is I'm learning the value of having safe places. That the people that I'm around, the people that we're all around, are not going to say everything completely right, no matter what color they are. And a lot of people are frustrated, but you gotta let people get the frustrations out. You gotta let people
it's
ask
messy
questions.
when they do.
You gotta allow it. That's the only way that relationships are formed. That's the only way that we gain something.
Understanding,
Is that we have got to allow people to share their authentic experiences, and feel comfortable that, guess what, you hear what I am saying. And I think that we all are challenged in this time. And I'm seeing a lot. I mean, a lot of stuff is surprising me about different people that I, thought they thought a certain way. And, it's just crazy. And I feel like we live in a very passive, like social media has given us, I'll say it this way, Instagram stories, Facebook stories have given us an opportunity to be passive aggressive, because I can post something and never have a conversation with you about it. And I'm kind of leery about how we really evolve. I think social media is great. I think we're having several different conversations at one time. I think social media is great. I think it can be used as a vehicle to help inform, spread a message, mobilize people. But I also see that there's a brokenness about it, is that sometimes it causes us not to really engage and have real authentic relationship with people.
I want to touch on something you said, and that is when you talked about it being spiritualized, right? It's because I think as a man, and some people, that's a struggle as well, is that people we've grown up seeing in the evangelical community, we would have thought they would have been one way, but then we see another way. And you start wondering, is God only concerned about one issue? Why is it that it's okay to say we're believing God on this and we're fighting for this, but then as a believer, you won't say Black Lives Matter. You won't say it was wrong for this to happen to George Floyd. It was wrong for this to happen to Breonna Taylor. We don't hear that but we will hear, the other side, whether it's Roe versus Wade or something like that. And so you stand back, and for me, again, race in Christianity has been a challenge for me in this season, because I'm wondering, how is it that we learn all of this? You know this word, and maybe you can help me with this, Travis. Whether it be a pastor or whoever,
I don't know.
and these people know all this word, but yet God haven't shown you that. He haven't exposed that to you. And you're leading your congregation saying this. And so for me, I almost got to the point where I'm done with church. I just had to continue to reel myself back in and say, that's not who God is.
Yeah, I don't know if I have the larger picture answer, and I think that may need to be an entire session itself. But I will say this. The Bible is very clear, and Paul is very clear that we see in part. And our ability, I think sometime in our ability to be right is still marginalized to us being seen in part. We don't see the full picture. We see our body, but we don't see the body of Christ.
Yeah.
We see our face, but we don't see the faces that represent the kingdom of God. Mm-hmm. And sometimes that causes, just the tone and the tenor and the anger and all that kind of stuff, we really see in part. I don't think we see the full picture. And here's what I settled in, because, I feel your sentiments. I think my father taught me best that people are not God, that my relationship with Christ, no matter how you appropriate him, has no bearings on my relationship with him. Because there's something that I encountered with Christ that no matter what is happening in our culture, you can never take away. That's the first thing. Yeah. We'll have to deal with the culture and the society later. And I think things will swing back, but that's kind of the reality. I think when we look at our lives as men,
yeah,
and when we look at our lives and what I feel like more than ever, things are becoming even more clear. There's some things that the more we see it, the more fearful we become. But I also feel like that the more you see it, you realize what you can become. Mm. That courage is not the absence of fear. That you have to look at whatever is before you. You have to look at the challenge, and you have to, in some ways, man up.
Yep.
And I think that, I think me and Mr. Moody was talking one time at the ManCave, and we was talking about appreciation and validation and stuff like that. And we kind of, about putting out the trash. I was like, there's some things as men that we're just supposed to do. Nobody's going to celebrate you for putting the trash cans out front. You stand up, you didn't celebrate me for putting out the trash.
Because that would be weird, though, wouldn't it?
Right.
The way you rolled that trash can out was, I've never seen a trash can rolled the way that your trash can rolled.
Thank you, baby.
Thank you so much.
Just
take the trash out.
You make me proud.
But I feel like that we as men we have been forced to see what our true weaknesses are, but we've also been granted the opportunity to see our greatest strength. Yeah. And the resilience and the passion and the courage that we have in these moments, and the rest that we recognize that we really do have, or that we really needed in this season, is available to us. And so I think.
But when you have to challenge me one-on-one in basketball, why does your heart palpitate so hard and fast? Like, do you man up there? Like, I gotta face this guy.
See, I think there's something in every man's life that he has to be made aware of his weaknesses.
When you look into my eye, what?
Wait a minute.
Wait a minute.
Went left. Wait a minute.
That went left.
No. When you playing one-on-one, you gotta look into the. When it's just like Kobe challenging Mike. You gotta. You right here.
You don't look at a man's eyes. You look at the.
No. Do we have to demonstrate?
Why you got?
I don't want to demonstrate. This is getting a little weird for me.
Yeah, what are you demonstrating? Is it
You were waiting on this. Look, you're 2-5, man.
No, I'm trying to
Hey.
figure out, is it waiting y'all gonna go out here and get a basketball or y'all gonna
You don't
demonstrate
wanna
looking
do
at each
that.
other's eyes?
Wait, he was talking about manning up.
I was just saying, man it up.
Okay,
and
so-
a part of being.
But when you challenge somebody, you got to man up. See,
All
I'm
right,
looking right
okay,
here.
I got a challenge.
Yeah, what's your challenge, man?
I brought a little something special.
Okay.
If we're gonna man up, I want to know which one of y'all will man up and eat some of these atomic wings that I got.
Well, let me tell you this. I've always told Keys that my heart don't pump Kool-Aid.
Okay.
And mine don't pump no slushy. I'm ready.
All right. So here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna take one. Make sure mine's got plenty of atomic on it. Just pass it down. You take one, and we're gonna
Y'all
try.
turn the camera off. Turn the camera off.
No, we're gonna try these together. Get your big whiff. That's the atomic. That's the hottest one that they make.
Hey, you heard all this stuff you just talking
Okay.
about?
Going right here,
Yeah,
right
hey, look that wing in its eye.
I gotta
That's
look
what
the
you
wing
need to
in
do.
the eye.
Look it right in its eye.
When you look into my eyes, what do you see?
Well, boy, let me see now.
Come on.
Come on, man.
All right.
Mr. Moody.
Dr. Moody?
I'm good.
Oh, come on, man.
No, I know my limit. I'm honestly, I know me. I know my limit. Atomic wings are not me.
I respect-
And for any man that's being challenged, talking about man up and stuff, not just wings. You need to know your
Know
limit.
your
'cause
limit.
I know what's
Okay.
gonna happen.
All right, okay,
if I eat
okay.
that
I
wing.
respect
All right,
it. I respect it.
so it's just simple. Just eat it, and let's just see what your reaction
I'm going
is.
to check y'all out for a minute.
I know. I'll start.
We doing it at the same time or what?
Go right here.
Let's see what he's talking about.
Go ahead,
Go
Jeremy.
ahead, Keith.
All right, here we go now.
Kind of stings a little bit going down.
Oh my.
I hit you in the back of the throat.
Not Hawaiian, Keith. Not
What
Hawaiian.
do you think, Jeremy? We're not in Hawaii no more.
All right.
Woo.
We talk on it.
Oh, you need more.
Yeah.
You want a few more?
Not right now. Wait on a little bit. oh. Hold on, let's go. What you say? He said,
Woo. Good. Yeah.
Wow.
I don't know
All right,
why.
Atomic.
I will eat these at the house and be in tears. My wife would be like, "Why would you do that?" And I like them. Woo! But it's hot.
Now you got to finish it, don't you?
Get
I
you
ain't got
some
nothing
water.
to prove.
Yeah,
I'm
get some
53.
drink now.
I done proved everything I need to prove. I ain't got nothing else.
Now, what was you saying, Moody, about
Your limits.
man knowing his
Yeah,
limits?
man just has to know his limit. Like, that's cool what y'all doing. I can sit back and chill and watch it. But like I said, I'm 53. I ain't got nothing else to prove to anybody else. And I know what that eating an atomic wing will do to me. And sometimes in life, you have to pretty much know your limits. In that I know the consequence.
I think Travis knows his limits.
Ho.
And I think in life, we have to know the consequences of choices that we make. When we allow people to sway us into doing things we shouldn't do, or because we feel like our ego is in play, nah, know your limit.
Make sure you get
Yeah,
that
he
on
probably
camera.
should've got some
Make sure you get that on camera.
Look, he hit it like he got that old school Holy Ghost.
You have to set yourself up.
Hey, go on, say hey with it, Travis. Hey, oh.
Hey, but guess what?
You have to set yourself up.
I respect the fact that y'all know y'all limits, but he threw out a challenge, and I rose to the occasion.
I'm a no limit
Every
soldier.
single time
I thought I
Don't
that
do
you
that.
get on the court,
Don't do that now.
you know what I do. I rise to the occasion.
No.
So guess what? I'm just saying for the people to know.
It sounds like a
You
challenge.
ain't you are never.
Let's bring the
gonna talk-
camera out. Let's get the camera out now.
You will never talk me out of my own greatness. I didn't even know Wingstop had something this hot.
Me either. It's all right though.
Does it make your eyes water a little?
Good God Almighty. Yeah.
And y'all see me.
Woo! I just want to say thank you guys. I think this has been rough for everybody this season. It's been a little spicy, dicey for
Little hot.
everybody.
Little hot. Thank you, brother.
But there's one thing that I say to myself, and I continue to say to people, that we are going to get through this.
Yep.
That no matter what comes our way, no matter what things we lose, no matter how we have to cry, no matter what we got to bear, and again, no matter how spicy it is,
Atomic it is.
We are going to get through this. And I think that this is a message for men to really recognize the fact that you don't have to give up in the middle of it. You don't have to be so overwhelmed that you think that you're never going to make it through.
Yeah.
That you have to lean on the relationships in your life, the people that matter. And sometimes you're going to have to stand alone. Yeah. You may have to stand by yourself. You may have to encourage it like David did, encourage himself in the Lord. Sometimes you got to do that. But you have to be determined that you're going to get through this.
It's like, I think we can get so looking to the future about making all the right decisions right now that I want to challenge everybody watching, just give yourself grace enough to just make the next best decision.
Yeah.
What's the next right move that you can make? Yeah. Not the next 10.
Yeah.
Because there's no way you can live up to that.
Moment by moment.
And it's like, because COVID is like, am I doing enough? Am I being safe enough? Am I taking the right vitamins? Am I walking enough? Like, all of those things are things that we need to be thinking about. Yeah. But sometimes it can be so overwhelming that you get paralyzed because you can't make all those decisions. Just make the next right one. And then after that, the next right one.
The goal isn't to be perfect. The goal is to simply be better. So in our relationships, in our lives, as business leaders, as ministers, as entrepreneurs, fathers, brothers, husbands, boyfriends, whatever we are, whatever role, whatever hat we have, man, stop aiming to be perfect. Aim to be better. Take one foot in front of the other and keep stepping toward it. Keep stepping toward that target. You're going to get hit. You're going to get knocked down. You're going to be, confused at times. You're going to be overwhelmed. And you're going to feel like a failure sometimes. But still get back up because the goal isn't to be perfect. It may not look like what you even envision in your own mind, but that doesn't mean that it can't be better. So if you can't remodel the entire house, is what I'm saying, pick a room and start with that. If you can't replace both of your vehicles, at least go ahead and start with one. You know what I mean? If you can't replace all 4 tires, at least get 2. Whatever you do, I think when people look at us in our relationships, in our lives, they should be able to say that, guess what? This person made my life better. And that's what we want. We want the men of ManCave. We want the men of the Potter's House North. We want all of our partners and our friends around the world. We want your lives to be better. We want your relationships to be better. We want you to be a better person, a better human being. And more importantly, we want you to be a better believer. Yeah. And so that's our aim, and that's our focus, and that's our goal. And thank y'all for joining us on this journey of ManCave. We're not trying to be perfect. We're just trying to be better. I want to invite you out to join our Facebook group. We're going there live right now, and we're going to have a recap of this session. We're going to talk, we're going to engage, and you guys will be able to vote on who will win if Pastor Keys and I take it to the court. Y'all know. Peace.